Hi guys, story recaps here. I am going to explain a 2013 war drama film called The Book Thief. Please try to like or dislike the video, it is important to us. The film's opening scene begins with the sight of clouds above the earth. And the male voice of a dead narrator can be heard. That no one lives forever no matter how hard they try. In any case, my advice is to remain calm in any situation. A passing train may now be seen in a snowfield. Liesel, the main character, is also present. This is Nazi Germany during World War II. Liesel witnesses her younger brother's death on the train, who is buried at a rest stop. Now we're in 1938 in Germany, and Liesel is in a car driving across a snowfield. She is actually heading to her new foster parents. Rosa is the name of her mother, and Hans is the name of her father. She arrives at her home. The next morning, Hans is playing a musical instrument and greets Liesel as she walks downstairs. Rosa requests that Lies call me Mama, while Hans calls us Papa. Someone knocks on the door after a while, and there is a child named Rudy. Later, he becomes Liesel's best buddy. Rudy is Liesel's classmate at school. When Rudy and Liesel arrive at school and proceed to class, they find standing students in front of the teacher. The teacher asks Liesel's name and hands her chalk, so she can write her name on the board. Liesel is illiterate, so she marks 3 crosses on the board to indicate that she does not know how to write. Everyone makes fun of Liesel, but the teacher says silence to everyone and asks Liesel to go to her seat. Liesel returns to the house, and Liesel's mother takes her inside. Liesel's father says good night to her, and notices that she is reading a book. Hans inquires, "Is it really yours?" Liesel responds, "It is always mine, it is my brother's." Then he inquires, "Do you know what's written here?" Liesel responds, "No. She can't read since she doesn't know how." Hans claims that I am not a good reader. Regardless, let's get started. After that, they read the book. The next morning, Liesel, dressed in a uniform, sings a song about Germans. Meanwhile, the month of November 1938 is shown, with the troops brutally breaking the window glasses in a market. The pages are scattered across the street, smashed. Someone has now knocked the door off a house. Also featured is a new character named Max. He is Jewish. He escaped from the army. Then Liesel's house is seen again, where Liesel's father Hans trains her to read and tells her, "Promise me about my exact burial location after my death." Then Hans takes the book from her and tells her, "Come with me. I have a surprise for you." He brings Liesel to the basement, where alphabets and words are written on the walls. He gives her chalk and asks her to write these words on it, referring to it as a dictionary. Liesel enjoys reading and writing, so she is overjoyed. Liesel says, "Thank you, Papa." After that, someone arrives and knocks on the door to take Hans to his house. Hans asks Liesel to hurry up, or we would miss the parade. It's late at night, and the entire town has gathered at a location where an army general is giving a speech. He claims that our nation should be reduced during the National Socialist Revolution. Our objective is to ethically and intellectually cleanse ourselves. Education, theater, literature, film, and the press are all supporting pillars that can shape our nation's identity. This is the reason for our gathering, to cleanse ourselves from intellectual trash. Then they set fire to the stack of books that were kept in the middle of them. And he claims that we must cure the disease that has affected Germany for the past 20 years. If war breaks out, we shall face our enemy and fight for our future until we achieve victory. Such a conflict will totally destroy our enemy. Liesel listens intently. And everyone is screaming slogans. Officer also claims that we will get rid of all communists and Jews. He then exclaims, "Great German Adolf Hitler." Then everyone sings a song while straightening their arms. Everyone leaves after a short period of time. Liesel goes to the burning pile of books and picks up a fallen book and hides it in her coat. When Hans arrives, he says, "I've asked you to meet me in church." Liesel says, "Sorry, Papa. The pages of books are all over the place." Liesel coughs, because she has a burnt book in her coat. Hans says nothing knowing about it, but just says, "We'll keep it hidden and read it like the other books in the basement." Liesel is overjoyed. And asks, "Was my real mama a communist? Was it Hitler who murdered my mother?" And declares that I hate Hitler. Hans forbids him from saying it in front of anyone. Liesel returns home and reads The Invisible Man by H.G. Wells. Someone unexpectedly knocks on the door. He is in fact, the same guy, Max, the Jewish soldier. In these dangerous circumstances, he begs for rescue. Rosa and Hans advise him to go upstairs. Hans informs Liesel that Max's father was killed in the war, laying down his life for me. And I owe it to his family. Then he tells Liesel, "Give me your promise that you will not tell anybody about our visitors, nor your soul." Liesel promises to keep her words, and returns to school the following day. She comes to her house after school to play with Rudy. When Jewish Max is sleeping and has a book in his hand at night. Max awakens just as Liesel is about to steal his book. And refers to her as a curious young lady. She returns his book and inquires about it. Max claims it's about Hitler. Liesel inquires, "Are you hiding from Hitler? Do you believe in communism? Have they murdered your mother?" On it, Max responds, "No, I am a Jew." Rosa comes to Liesel the next morning, gives her work, and gives her some laundry clothes. And requests to go to a residence. She and Rudy arrive at that house in no time. Ilse, an old lady, beckons her inside and leads her into the library. She may have picked up on Liesel's desire to learn. Liesel feels pleasure as she touches books and selects the dream career. She then realizes Rudy is waiting for her outside and goes to tell elderly woman Ilse. But old lady Ilse invites her to come to her house at any moment for a book reading. Because Hans' family is afraid of soldier raids. Because Max is Jewish. Max is now shown in the basement. Liesel also walks down to the basement to read a book. And a new term is always written with chalk on the basement wall since it is difficult. Max inquires, "Where do you get these words?" Liesel refers to it as a secret. Later, she explains the location where she goes to read a book and memorizes it. Max then gives Liesel a book. He says, "My religion teaches me that every living being, every leaf, and every bird is only alive because they have secret words of life. If we want to tell the difference between clay and ourselves, we need to use words. Words are essential to life." Snowfall gradually worsens the cold, and Max becomes unwell as a result of the cold temperature in the basement. Liesel now believes Max will die and places her late brother's pick on him. And still reads books. H.G. Wells's The Invisible Man. A stranger arrived in February, during the bitterly cold days of piercing wind and driving snow. No one could know anything about him till he died. Liesel later sneaks into the old lady's house library through the window and takes a book. Because Ilse's husband stops her from using a laundromat. With the passage of time, she continues to steal books from the library one by one in a stealthy manner, and Rudy is also aware of it. But she claims that she has simply borrowed. Following that, Liesel tells Rudy about Max. Many soldiers now visit this area to check for the presence of Jews or communists. Liesel's family is on high alert. During the night, the people of the region relocate to a location with their belongings in anticipation of an army raid. Rosa and Hans, who had left Max at home, joined Liesel in hiding at that location. But as Max gets out of the house, he is filled with joy. He is joyfully gazing at the stars in the sky when a soldier van arrives. He instantly flees. He intends to leave the following day so that this family is not hurt as a result of his presence. Liesel is saddened by Max's leaving. Max departs in the dead of night. Liesel is visibly upset, as are Rosa and Hans. The next day, it is revealed that Liesel's best friend has also been chosen for the elite training. That he will begin in the summer. Meanwhile, Hans finds a job as a result of his army selection. According to Liesel, everyone is leaving, even Rudy. Hans tells Liesel to care for her mother because she is not strong enough. Hans also departs. Liesel is sitting on the steps, holding a book, after a long time. Within a little time, a soldier van arrives, followed by Hans. Liesel is overjoyed to see him and exclaims, "Papa! As you have returned home." Hans is talking with Liesel in his home, and Liesel adds, "I was surprised thinking about Max as where is he?" Hans expresses the same sentiment. Because these are war days, war has started once more. The next day, everything is ruined. Houses are smashed to dust, and lifeless bodies are scattered everywhere. Everything has been completely destroyed. Soldiers discover an alive girl beneath the structure. She is Liesel, the survivor. And she is hurt and says, "Mama, Papa," as she comes out. Her family, however, is no longer present. Rosa, Hans, and Rudy are all no longer alive. She becomes unconscious. When she comes to her senses, she discovers a book beneath the bricks. Simultaneously, old lady Ilse arrives in her car, to whose residence Liesel used to go for book stealing. She runs and hugs that lady. 2 years later, Liesel is seen working in Rudy's father's tailor shop, and she sees Max at the door and smiles as she greets him. The year 1945 is now shown. In addition, American troops have occupied Germany. The story is now nearing its climax. The same cloudy view as in the first scene was displayed. The masculine voice of the dead narrator is then heard. I came across some amazing events. I witnessed the world's worst destruction. I've also witnessed the amazing wonders. But I'll just remark that no one lives forever. Finally, I arrived at Liesel, brimming with egotistical pride. Because she had spent her 90 years of life wisely. Many individuals were inspired by her stories. Max's friendship lasted as long as Liesel's. In her final thoughts, she recalls countless lives that were connected with hers. As well as Hans, Rosa, and Rudy, she has 3 children and a grandchild. Finally, there were no words but peace. Subscribe and turn on the notification. You can also dislike or like the video to appreciate our hard work.